These drones are true hunters of the occupiers. They fear them like the devil fears holy water. They just hear the sound of the vampires, and that's it. Panic and whining. Death comes quickly and inevitably. The skillful work of the drone operators also aids our infantry. This is a true salvation for the Ukrainian army. What can the birds do, and why have all Russian attempts to create analogs failed spectacularly? Watch about this in the material right now.
We are moving further to the point from which we will work. There is no time to delay, because the guys don't have much of it. It's literally a matter of minutes before the FPV drone takes off. The guys are setting up their bomber and preparing the workspace. It will start at night, so we have time to get acquainted.
The world of my destiny is wealthy countries for work. That is, I did not plan to stay in Ukraine. I had a visa. It was supposed to open on February 25th. On the morning of the 24th, I was heading to the area to buy a ticket for February 26th to leave for Finland. But something went wrong.
And Vadim has already been the operator of this large bomber drone for a year. Before that, he was in the infantry, so he knows better than anyone what the guys on the front line need.
It's tough in the infantry. Also, I really, deeply sympathize with the men in the infantry because they do, twice as much work as we do. They are the ones holding back the enemy in places where nothing drives, no one goes.
And this is Vadim's partner, with the call sign Pumba.
I help attach various cargo to the drone, change batteries, and generally setting up and packing up.
Which they start doing closer to night.
But it is very noisy, and it's very hard to hide from it.
They start the engine. The drone hovers briefly in the air and disappears into the darkness. Vampire is a drone that the Russians have nicknamed Baba Yaga. It operates mainly at night and destroys equipment worth several $1 million. But this time, the Vampire has a different mission. It needs to help its own by delivering supplies.
Why are we flying with drones? Because there isn't the possibility of frequently moving vehicles there, the equipment. Cars can't get in there like that. So we can do it by air with drones.
He says sometimes they drop supplies from the drone, and sometimes they attach a rope to the drone to deliver everything needed.
So that nothing gets lost, nothing leaks.
They monitor the movement on the tablet. Everything is visible there.
Behavior patterns.
And there are quite a few flights like this per night, until our guys on the front line receive everything they need.
If we don't help the infantry, they'll come to our dugout.
Vadim is already delivering a new batch of supplies, and we're going with him.
Darena Hutsakalo. It's quiet in the cabin. And then I hear...
Driver, the girl with the crown here.
Darina Hutsakalo. Again?
Driver, yes.
Darina Hutsakalo. When are we leaving?
Driver, when we were leaving.
Darina Hutsakalo. Well, we got lucky. Again, we left intact. From Donetsk region, Tetiana Demuk and Valery Ryabchenko. We are Ukraine Marathon. Unified News.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Darina Hutsakalo. Everyone get ready. China has developed a mega bomb. If it explodes, it will blow up half the world. The engineers have really outdone themselves. Where might Beijing launch this new development? And will it hand it over to Russia? You will hear the answers to these questions in the following report.
Tetiana Demuk. The Chinese authorities managed to test an experimental hydrogen bomb weighing 2 kilograms. As reported by the South China Morning Post, the bomb did not contain nuclear components, but it can realistically trigger a reaction capable of covering a large area with thermal impact.
Andrei Vorobyov, the developer of the new bomb, is the Naval Forces Institute. Thermobaric weapons are used very rarely in the Navy.
Tetiana Demuk, a fireball with a temperature above 1,000 degrees Celsius. The device uses magnesium hydride, a chemical compound capable of storing significantly more hydrogen than in cylinders. When activated by a conventional explosive, it decomposes, releasing hydrogen, which immediately ignites. What distinguishes it from similar charges based on TNT? The flame. It lasts 15 times longer.
Andrei Vorobyov, the Chinese, for hydrogen bomb is not a thermonuclear weapon. It is essentially a conventional chemical weapon, like all standard munitions, ranging from trinitrotoluene to gas burners. It can be classified as one of the types of thermobaric munitions. Thermobaric munitions are dangerous under certain conditions, especially in enclosed spaces.
Tetiana Demuk. Initially, this development was intended for delivering hydrogen to remote areas, where it can be used in fuel cells to produce environmentally friendly energy and heat.
Andrei Vorobyov. The novelty of the Chinese is that they have identified, found, and highlighted a new technology for binding this hydrogen as a working substance and an explosive substance. Now, they can, well, not just with the bomb itself, it can be shared. The question is precisely the technology of saturating magnesium hydride with hydrogen. And any country can test this variant of thermobaric weapons.
Tetiana Demuk. Chinese engineers believe that this new weapon can be adjusted for specific tasks. What tasks are we talking about? And why did China decide to take this step right now?
Andrei Vorobyov. The developer of the new bomb is the Naval Forces Institute. Thermobaric weapons are used very rarely in the Navy. The Chinese consider coastal states, both small and large, as their main adversaries. That is, starting from mainland China's claims on island China, on Taiwan, for a war with which the Chinese are evidently preparing, and ending with a whole range of open or not so open conflicts in the northern part, well, generally in the Asia-Pacific region.
Tetiana Demuk. In the year 24, the PRC tested an intercontinental missile for the first time in 44 years. The missile flew approximately 12,000 kilometers.
Zhang Rong Rong. The missile forces launched an intercontinental ballistic missile with a dummy warhead into the open sea in the Pacific Ocean. The missile fell in the expected maritime areas. This test launch is a routine procedure in our annual training. It complies with international law and international practice, and is not directed against any country or target.
Tetiana Demuk. Secret documents from American intelligence mentioned Beijing's successes in developing intercontinental missiles that can bypass Washington's missile defense system. Similarly, in 2024, China tested the latest classified 6th-generation fighter jet. The prototype successfully completed its first flight, accompanied by the Chinese 5th-generation fighter J-20.
Andrei Vorobyov. Now it has not only caught up with its, let's say, ideological and technological predecessor, but has surpassed and left it far behind. This applies to the aviation component, ground forces, and the naval fleet.
Tetiana Demuk. China is actively strengthening its nuclear arsenal. In 2023, China had approximately 500 warheads. By 2030, this number could double.
Andrei Vorobyov. In recent years, Chinese developments of landing ships or landing barges, as they even call them, with a floating bridge. That is, several of these ships not only carry troops on board, but also deploy a bridge to the shore, bypassing the immediate coastal strip. Well, obviously, this is primarily not a hint, but a direct indication towards Taiwan.
Tetiana Demuk. Beijing officially adheres to a no-first-use policy, but this, Kin, does not stop it from building up forces and developing the military sector by creating new missiles.
Andrei Vorobyov, starting from ballistic cruise missiles, well, this is a broad field, but also the main direction, as we already see, is that cruise missiles may not be so much anti-ship weapons as weapons for striking. deep into enemy territory.
Tetiana Demuk, Beijing is actively investing in non-nuclear strategic technologies, DF-17 hypersonic missiles, long-range precision complexes, as well as electromagnetic and laser weapons. Besides maritime countries, Beijing is also eyeing the Arctic. China, Russia, and the USA are already competing for it. China has long since arrived in the Arctic. Its geostrategic significance is very advantageous for these countries. They are ready to share the mineral resources there.
Andrei Vorobyov, China, which is a major, huge transit country, transit through the waters of the Northern Ice Ocean is a short route, and the Chinese are interested in it. Well, secondly, naturally, the Chinese are looking further ahead. The Chinese are looking at hydrocarbon resources, primarily in the Arctic zone. Well, at the very least, they want to have their piece of the Arctic too.
Tetiana Demuk, now Beijing, has turned its attention to Russia. They understand that the Russian Federation is weakened by the war in Ukraine. This opportunity cannot be missed. After the Amur, which Putin easily gave to Xi Jinping, other Russian territories might also be at stake. China is armed and determined, and Putin understands this.
Darina Hutsakalo, that's all from me for now. I was with you. Darina Hutsakalo. Even more hellish news from the front in our next edition. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and like. See you.